Hi everyone, my name is Nikita, and today I'm going to talk to you more about building for next billion users using generative AI. Well, the world is talking about generative AI, and I'm sure all of you have explored a little bit about at least what the definition stands for. But a lot of you may have curiosity why the world is talking about it, why is it so hyped, and what can you do about it? I'll dive deep into it a little later, but first let's think about how can you solve for next billion users. Now for any project you have in mind, you always want to think how will a lot of people benefit from this application. I'm sure the project that you're working on is not intended for a group of people. You always want to think about how you can scale this, perhaps feature in Shark Tank and get some amazing funding for your projects. So, hello everyone. My name is Nikita, and I'm very excited to talk to you about building for next billion users using generative AI. Firstly, I'm really thankful to be here, and I wish this was an in-person session. But despite of everything, I'm thankful that I'm still able to connect with everyone virtually. Now, look at the picture on the screen, and what do you think it's trying to depict? What is it signaling you? You can put in the chat box or take a guess by yourselves to imagine what exactly this picture is trying to say. Well, for those who travel by metros, for those who live in metro cities or may have visited some of these metro cities, you've seen how crowded they are. May that be your local platform or may that be railway station. It's so highly populated, it's dense at any time you go. And do you ever wonder how does it take so many people from one place to another, get them back, and all of this is managed in a such a efficient manner? And time has evolved, right? I mean, if you think, say, 50 years back, the way people were commuting was a lot more different than how they are commuting now. And if you go back even further and say think about 100 years from now, people were commuting in a very different way, and they'll commute in a very different manner thereafter. And that's because we as engineers derive new technologies, we innovate new ways to solve for different problems. Now 50 or more like time ago, there were so many people living in Mumbai, and the challenge was how can you bring so many people from one place to another, how do you transport them? And if you look back about the problems even before, say 50 or 70 years back, people were using bullock carts, horses to go from one place to another. And obviously, there were some challenges that made people think of innovative solutions. And that's why today we see double decker buses, which is also a history now. We've seen aeroplanes, helicopters, metros, trains that has evolved over time. And do you know when, this evolvement from using animals for transportation to using electrical vehicles to petrol vehicles or diesel cars, do you know what has changed and why this innovation exactly happened? Well, brownie points for those who are able to guess. So basically, while people were using animals to transport from one place to another, they were creating a lot of mess. The city was literally stinking, and there were diseases spreading because there was poop that was littered literally everywhere because animals did not know when to poop, where to poop, how to poop, and that was literally creating so much of dunk everywhere that literally people were frustrated about this problem. And now, if you think what is the solution for this problem, it was definitely not how do you clean the mess, but it is about how do you find alternatives that can still help people go from one place to another. And time has evolved, and the way we are commuting has evolved even better. Now, if you think, has the proofs problem solved? Definitely not. They actually came up with better ways to transport. That's because problems don't exist until we define them. The problem was not only about cleaning the city, but it was also about how can a lot of people go from one place to another. And hence, how we define the problem shapes the way how we narrate our solution for the existing problems. So, according to Stanford's design model, the most important step of design thinking is not just ideating the solutions or building prototypes or testing amongst the users, but it's also about how you define the problem. That's the most important step. Now, you may have ideas in your mind like, I want to build a centralized database system for hospitals, but the way you are defining this problem will also help you derive solutions. Now, there was a coffee shop, and the coffee shop was actually not making enough business, and they were trying to understand why people were not preferring their coffee unless the company had defined that bad coffee beans are actually the problem before actually they went in the market and tested amongst the users. They would have had better customer experience, and perhaps the brand reputation would have been a lot more different. So, first is define the problems. What do the outcomes look like? What do people need? What is your segment or the target audience looking for? How will you be influencing your solutions to them? What constraints you have while you're thinking about solutions? How much time you have while you're thinking about these problem statements? Some of you may have infinite time, but is it something that you are willing to spend while you're trying to define your problem? And what does the competition look like? What are other people in the market doing? Doing your market research is one of the most crucial step while you're ideating a solution for a defined problem statement. And you know why I emphasize on the word define very specifically. Now, let's specifically focus on innovating. What is within your power? You may have a great problem statement on your mind, and you may have a lot of amazing ways to solve for it. But while you're innovating, what is it in your power? One is you have access to a lot of resources on the internet. Second is for the community for whom you're trying to bring a solution, you may have access to them, you may not have access to them. But because this is a little bit on the technical side, I'm going to speak about how you can leverage the buzzwords on the internet, make your problem more definite, and even more definite is how you are profiling the solution for the problem statement you've chosen. So now we are going to explore multimodal use cases with Gemini on Vertex. Now, a lot of fancy words, multimodal, Gemini, Vertex. And when I'm talking about Gemini, you all know I'm not talking about your sun sign. And Vertex is not those mathematical or geometrical figures that we learned in our school days. But don't worry, I'm going to simplify this for you in the next couple of slides. First is the Gemini era. Let's talk about why the internet is flooded with Gemini conversations and what is this era about. So, Gemini is the most capable and general model that Google has built, and it's a result of large scale collaborative efforts by the team across Google, including DeepMind and Google Research. So, there has been a lot of research when this was launched in the market. They've used a lot of reference data, sample data, and there is a lot of engineering happening behind the scenes when they innovated Gemini. Now, what exactly Gemini does is it processes user request. May that be a search request where user is asking, where can I find a barber shop around me? And then it tries to conversate with the user than just giving some recommendations which may not be accurate. And this definitely helps when the user has follow-up questions and the search journey doesn't stop with just one question. So This model is going to try to communicate with the user, understand what exactly it's looking for, and then provide solutions. Now, Google's foundation models on Vertex, there are a lot, but I'm going to speak about Gemini 1.0 Pro, which is a newest launch. And then, of course, offline you can go and search more about Hugging Face models, Claude on Vertex AI, Gemma 2B, 7B. And you can actually start with Gemini 1.0 Pro if you haven't explored that yet. Now, Gemini 1.5 Pro is a mid-size multi-model with breakthrough long context understanding. So, it's a new mixture of expert architecture that provides more efficient training and serving while increasing model performance. So, this model has been given more training and it has better performance capabilities than Gemini 1.0, and it has expanded context window, and you can raise up to 1 million tokens for complex reasoning across vast amount of information that is available. You'll have better understanding and reasoning across modalities, and extensive ethics and safety testing is being done before this was actually given as a preview for the market to explore. Now, how does this Vertex AI architecture look like? To simplify this for you, you can build your own Gen AI powered agents which can help the user get results for specific queries that they have on mind. Like, say, for example, you've built a chat bot where the user is asking specific questions. The bot can actually bring in results by different learnings that it has and provide results basis that. And the journey doesn't end there. You can actually ask more questions to the bot, and the bot will continue conversating with the user until it's able to provide all the answers that the user is looking for. And the base of this is Gemini. It's a model garden. There has been partner models, there's Google's model as well, and there's been OSS. All of these have collaborated together to form the foundation, and all of these are on Google Cloud infrastructure and use Google's data cloud for providing user solutions. Now, business users are basically on the AI solution search and conversation layer of the architecture. Developers are also focusing on search and conversations, while AI practitioners are thinking about how they can distill better query results and provide accurate answers to the users. If you want to explore different use cases of Vertex, like, you want to extract text from images, or you want to um, mock up an image to HTML, or you want to create a travel guide for video, then you can try Gemini powered multimodal experiences on Vertex AI. Vertex AI is built for developers. It has interfaces for all developers. You may come from a Colab background, Flutter, Firebase. There is so much for each one of you to explore. It has extensive quick start library with code samples and jump starts for developers of all levels and ecosystem. It has a lot of free labs for you to try and test. It has robust integrations with popular third-party developer tools like LangChain, LamIndex, Pinecone, and VV8. And there are packages and extensions that you can use for native support in the Google Cloud Foundation models, in Google App developer frameworks like Firebase and Flutter. Now, evolution of these Gen AI use cases. So, machine learning was about regression, classification, forecasting, sentiment analysis, object detection. But now this has evolved to text or code generation, code rewriting, formatting, summarizing, extractive Q&A, image and video description. So you can put a long video, and then Gen AI can actually give captions, or it can summarize the video in a small manner. And the next level is multimodal generative AI, where it understands natural image, It has spatial and logical mathematical reasoning in visual context. So if you give them an image and say that, can you solve this puzzle for me, Jenny, I can now do that for you. And it has automatic speech recognition and translation facilities that makes it even more useful when you're trying to scale your product across different diverse set of audiences. I think we spoke about Gemini use cases, but I would like to highlight two outstanding solutions that were built by the GDSCs in India. Of course, there are so many examples that I could choose, but in interest of time, I would like to speak about AI DRP, which is an AI driven platform that can accurately predict and reduce 30-day hospital readmission rates for diabetes mellitus patients. And the second one is inclusive online educational platform, which is sensory learn, designed for designed for underprivileged kids. So it is scalable across different 40 plus languages, and then the user can provide query in any format: text, image, audio. It can actually answer to the user queries no matter what the language is. And in case I have created an excitement amongst all of you and you want to explore some of the developer resources, then you can check out these links, perhaps take a screenshot of this and go back and explore these while you're working on your projects, or you are trying to explore the era of Gemini, which is one of the most trendiest topics on the internet. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for patiently listening to me. In case I created an excitement amongst all of you and you'd like to talk to me, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I have mentioned my Twitter ID. You can always reach out to me there, and I would be happy to hear more about the work that you're doing and the solutions that you're crafting. Thank you so much.